6:31, and I think we should call this public hearing to order. We're here tonight to discuss whether 49 Beach should be preferably preserved. And that means that there could be a 6-month delay on the demolition. The members of the commission, most of them went to visit the house and took a look. And I will give the members of the commission the first chance to speak. Then I will give the owner a chance to speak. And then anyone else who wishes to speak before the commission members make their decision whether to institute a 6-month delay or not. A 6-month delay is the largest delay we can institute. If they should make a decision to put a delay on, it can be removed by the commission at any time if the circumstances allow it. The demolition bylaw does say that as long as the demolition is in effect, we can't remove it until there are concrete plans, building plans approved by the building department. So I will give the members of the commission one at a time their chance to have their word. Who wants to go first? Nobody has anything to say?
Well, yes, but I'm eager to hear.
Hold on, I was trying to say something. I need to know who's here, and I need a little clarity on a couple of these. I see a phone number 508-984-5115. Who is that?
That's me, Keith Coppola,
Oh, hey.
K-A-U-P-P-I-L-A.
I know how to spell it. Okay, next. Nina. Who is Nina on Nina's iPad?
Donald White, 43 Beach Ave. We are neighbors with the Panenkos.
Okay. Keith, Linda, Philip. Margaret Anderson, is that who is actually behind that name? Margaret Amarante Anderson? I don't know who that person is.
She's the abutter on the other side, I think, or at least the family of the abutter on the other
I'm
side.
just gonna write that name down. And I see a Mr. Ron DePippo. Is that correct?
Ron is an interested party. He's the one who's written the book on Bayview.
Oh, great.
Provides on this side.
I
Down
think
here.
thank you, everybody.
High as it'll go.
Got everybody? Your minutes are in order?
Thank you.
Okay. Now, if someone from the commission wish to say something? Well, if nobody has anything to say,
This is James O'Day. If nobody else jumps in, I'll begin the comment section. Is that all right?
yes, thank you.
Okay, great. Well, first of all, I just wanted to thank both Grace and Chris for their testimony at our meeting 2 weeks ago or so, and for them graciously inviting all of us over to their property to view the house firsthand, understand better its structural integrity, et cetera, et cetera. My comments are this, and I'll be brief. The criteria for me judging the house, whether it's preferably preserved or not, is its structural integrity and its historic significance, et cetera. A driving factor for me is not its size. In this case, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't sway me to say, oh, the house is too small. You can't possibly do anything with that. You knew getting into buying the house and caveat emptor that you knew how small it was. You take the risk that the commission might think it's significant and prevent demolition or vote for a stay. But at any rate, after going last Saturday to look at the property and viewing the interior from tip to toe, I formed my opinion about its structural integrity, and I also appreciate the neighbors' testimony and input. But I do want to add that my making the motion that we consider this house was important for us as commission members, I felt, because we need to see it firsthand. We can't take someone's hearsay or secondhand opinion about whether a house is structurally insecure, it's been let go, or there's demolition by neglect, or that sort of thing. So it was very good for us to put eyes on it, I felt, as commission members. And in the past, I think the commission has missed some important buildings and structures. Namely, I think of the Martha Farmhouse on Allen's Neck Road, where we took the advice of an unqualified person or hearsay or anecdotal evidence to determine whether the house was structurally sound or significant. But we find out as it's being torn down and you see the bones that it is significant and is a contributing element to a cultural landscape. So insufficiently managed, I'd say, then I wanted to avoid such insufficient management going forward. So therefore, I think it was good to see this house. So those are my comments.
But your comments don't say anything about your views of the structural integrity or the historical significance, which is what you were going to discuss.
Okay, on those 2 points then. I do feel that the building is historically significant. I don't feel that it's truly architecturally significant. And because it's part of an old summer community or colony rather, that's changed significantly, this factors into my decision. Architecturally, I don't think it's overwhelmingly significant after viewing the interior. And then finally, structurally, I see a lot of weaknesses in it where it would not seem to necessarily merit further investment in it.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for that. Who else has something to say?
I would just say that with the lead up to what we saw that day, I was expecting it to be quite a bit worse in terms of condition, and very obviously leak basement coming in from a water pipe, which was the only source of water. I didn't smell dampness or must or anything, but other than that, I do see that it is a summer type house and maybe not what the buyer expected.
Thank you, Jordan. Anybody else?
Diane. I just want to add that this house is historically significant for its age of 1894 being one of the early houses that was built at Bayview. So I don't want to give short shrift to the significance of that cottage. I agree with Jordan that I didn't see that it was in dire straits. I would add also, I would echo what Jamie said, which was that when the buyers purchased this property, I can't speak for the buyers, but at the last meeting where this was taken up, it was stated that for $300,000, they were really buying the land, the value of the land. But nevertheless, you have to come to us to talk about demolition. And what concerns me more than anything at the moment is that we haven't seen any plans that have been fleshed out that have been approved by the building department. And what struck us the last time was the conceptual plans were at least insufficient to my mind, because not knowing what the building department will have to say about the size and the height of this house, and the fact that it's on 0.13 acres, that it's a sufficient, the size would overwhelm that little neighborhood, if I can use my imagination with the plans that I did see. So I am eager to know more about what those plans are going to be, and I would not vote on demolition and leaving a cavity there. I would like to get a better sense of what what will replace that cottage.
Thank you.
My
Anybody else?
name is Philip Baker. I saw what was a gathering location for family members, and I don't believe that the structure is significant, and that the new owners of the property should forge ahead and build a newer, more family-oriented space to enjoy the surrounding areas. That's it.
Bob? You're muted, Bob.
Where's Bob Smith?
Okay.
Unmute, Bob.
Huh?
He is.
Unmute. Okay, go to it.
Am I not unmuted?
Now you
Yes.
are, yeah.
I think all the points that the committee members have made are follow my train of thought, especially Diane's. I think that given all of the facts of the house is historically significant in terms of what it represents in the town and in that community and that in that Bayview area. It's one of the last vestiges of what originally existed there. However, I think that personally, I feel that the house, once a suitable set of plans are presented to the building department, and we're secure in the feeling that the owner will go ahead with a set of plans that have been approved and fit in with the location, and also that we have a set of photographs that do a reasonable job of showing what the house is and where it stands, that we should allow the house to be demolished, but not until we have a set of building plans that are not just conceptual, and otherwise we'll be looking at a vacant lot there, and that could sit there for a long time. So that's my thought.
Thank you. Keith, do you have anything more to say?
No, I was just wondering if there is an argument that there's something historically significant. I haven't heard what it is.
Well, you haven't heard, but other people have said because it's one of the earliest houses in Bayview.
Okay.
Keith, in a way, if you think of some of these camps that were built in the late 1800s, and Oak Bluffs has been mentioned as a poster child for all of those little cottages that were kind of gingerbready and were restored and so that community retains its style and what existed there in the late 1800s. So the architectural significance is that this house is probably is the last vestige of what Bayview represented once upon a time.
Does it still retain what it showed in the 1890s?
Yes.
That is, whether in fenestration or other siding or anything. Is there anything left from that period there?
The pictures in Ron DePippo's book, the picture from our collection, from the Historical Commission's collection showing the house about 1900, shows the basic outline of exactly the same. A couple of bedrooms have been bumped on in the upper story.
And to add to or follow up with Keith's question, what's left of it? I mean, essentially the massing of the house is what's left. It's the gambrel roofed principal facade we see. There have been subsequent additions that aren't really contributing features like this wraparound porch across the front. I'd also make the distinction between what's architecturally significant and what's historically significant. Yes, without a doubt, it's historically significant because it's part of an old summer colony. The house has been moved from its original site, but still it is, as somebody used the term, a vestige. It is a vestige of what that summer colony used to be. There are few and far remainders of that sort of house in that area. In fact, across the street is a 1950s ranch style house. So you can just see how things have changed. There's infill that's been built up over the last, well, certainly last 100 years, even post-war years and that sort of thing, changing the character of the community. And then as far as fenestration, siding, et cetera, there are some details. There's some shingle siding. There's some interesting small details, architectural. Fenestration's been changed. You can see the front window has a very, very recent sort of arched window in the gambrel end of the house. So it's a mixed bag of what of what's significant or contributing and what's much later and sort of ruins its integrity in certain ways.
Any other comments from the members of the commission, or should we go to the owner of the property?
I'll just say one more thing, and this has no real bearing on the outcome of this hearing today or my vote for that matter, but personally, I like the house, and if it were mine, I would do anything I could to save at least part of it or incorporate it into a new structure or build it out to my needs, only because I think it's completely charming and has a lot of potential.
I agree, Jordan.
I would agree with Jordan's comment. I don't know how far we can delve into giving the owners direction as to how.
I'm not asking for them to receive direction. I'm just stating an opinion that will not affect how, it shouldn't affect how we proceed today.
Yes, and I'm picking up from my other cohorts. If it seems as if there seems to be a leaning, so long as it's recorded photographically for historical purposes, and there's some sort of site plan review, or there's a further development, a more defined architectural plans. It seems to me that the cohorts are saying they're going to vote for a stay because they would like a stay would allow them to have these plans developed and presented to them. Am I wrong or right in understanding that meaning?
if you as a commission institute a delay and they go out in the next month and get a set of architectural plans that they are happy with and bring them to the building department and the building department approves them, we can then lift the delay immediately. The reason for doing this would be to guarantee, as somebody said, that we don't end up with a vacant lot because the house gets taken down and then nothing can be done to satisfy the building department.
And, you know, everybody has good intentions and everybody will make a good faith effort. But I, for one, am interested in seeing these new plans and seeing evidence that this house, if it will be replaced by a larger one or by one that's suitable to owners, will be a reality. And I think this is a good use of the demo review bylaw. This is a not all or nothing situation. We take our demo delays, our applications case by case. Yes, we know about the failings of the commission, according to Jamie at the Martha House. You know, we have been beaten up around that for much too long. And I'm just looking forward now to addressing this particular case and following each of our individual consciences in terms of, you know, how we will vote.
How many families are going to be in this house?
Unmute.
Just say.
Oh, how many bedrooms?
One family, but I have 2 kids. They will come visit me.
But I mean, you're going to have a master bedroom, a
And 2
modern
bedrooms.
kitchen.
Will be 2 bedrooms.
You're going to have how many bedrooms? 3?
3.
3 bedrooms. You're going to have a washing area, a wet room,
Kitchen, a living room,
a living room. So this
and a garage.
And a garage. You're going to have to stretch out in your footprint of your property so that it is nested in the area that's not going to offend neighbors who are on the west and east side. So I think I'm looking forward to see the plans, but I still think that you should plan to, I know this sounds awful for me, but I think being that this building would need to be redesigned and elongated to keep its historic value, I think that they should just be given the opportunity to upgrade the home for the families who are going to live there and enjoy it.
Philip, it won't retain its historic value if this particular cottage gets demolished. So let's get that straight.
Well, I don't see how the kitchen, to bring it up to standards, you're going to fit a full-size refrigerator in there with a full-size range oven, dishwasher, counter space, and all this stuff without a new design of a kitchen, let alone the living room. Actually, the whole building would have to be broken down and remade all over again.
Philip, that's the architect's responsibility. That's really not our responsibility.
Okay,
The question only is, do we not allow them to take down this building until they are assured that they can build a new building?
Okay, all right.
Okay. Anybody
Yeah.
else? Should we let the owner speak?
Can I just make one final comment and question to Grace? Grace, since we met 10 days ago or 2 weeks ago at the last meeting reviewing your demo application, have you given some thought to refining it and further development? You can go into that now. Part of that's maybe not necessarily part of our purview or that sort of thing, but if you want to enlighten us as to any changes you've made in thinking, et cetera, for the scale and size and massing of the proposed new building.
Yes. I think when we were talking about the first plans, I was saying we're still working with the architect because he gave that first option to us, see what we want, what we don't want it, but he's working on the second plan. So I have a meeting next week because we want, of course, I think it's a big house, the first one, you know, he show us for the land. And I don't want to do a master home there because I don't want to cover everybody's house. But I just like to have 3 bedrooms, a normal thing. You know what I'm saying? For my family enjoy, and me and my husband enjoy our retirement. And demolish the house. I'm not looking, when you guys approve, to me on the week, demolish the house, because I have to go to Board of Appeals. I know already if we demolish the house, of course it's a new plan, we have to go to the Board of Appeals. So this will take maybe 2-3 months. So I don't want to have already construction there because this is summer. I don't want to disturb the neighbors. I don't want that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we want to do that. You know, if you guys want us wait until the new plans until we decide what for exactly what we want choice for the house, it's okay, but I don't agree we have to wait 6 months. Will take us to winter time. We're not going to demolish a house in the winter time.
Well,
But that's what I was trying to explain. If you come back another month from now with plans that are acceptable to the building department, and if you have to go to the ZBA, if you come back with all those approvals, we can change the 6 months to immediately.
Do you understand that, Grace?
Yes.
Okay, that's to say if tonight we voted to delay this, vote for a 6-month delay, we'd be looking for plans and to document it photographically. That's what we're looking for. When that's satisfied and you present those things, that's to say that the commission could then rescind the stay. And that is sooner than the 6 months. You understand that?
Okay. Okay.
You understand that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay. And do you want to say anything else, Grace, or are you
No,
satisfied?
no, I'm satisfied.
Okay, I wonder if there's anybody else who is listening in, who's a member of the public, who wishes to add anything.
And just one more thing, Judy, last time on the last meeting, you asked me if somebody was interested on their house, if I allowed them to take the house. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. If anybody are interested and they want to save the house, if they think they can save the house, they're welcome to take the house.
Okay,
Can Dawn White speak?
sure.
Thank you.
I think many of you, if not all of you, in the commission were here recently to see this house. And I think you perhaps remember that physically the house is 2 feet from my backyard. It is not only 2 feet, but is in about as poor condition as I can conceive, with windows falling out, paint peeling, basement windows into which rodents have descended. And I can only suggest to you that you hurry this process, because there's no way, in my opinion, that that house can be salvaged. And even if it is, it should never have been put in that corner. That corner is totally out of place with both my house and the Amarantis next door. And if nothing else happens, then at least move the house. I think what I would suggest is that maybe the new owners get themselves an architectural engineer and get an estimate on whether that house can be salvaged. We've been talking in generalities here without the facts. So I would suggest that whatever happens, the sooner the better for their benefit, as they'd like to take advantage of the summer. I'm not sure how that would work, but as soon as you people are satisfied that the building accommodations are right, and I would strongly urge you to give them the go-ahead. Thank you.
Well, the building department will tell them that they have to have 10 feet from the line. And the architect will know and understand this, at least I hope so. This is not an architect from in town, but I assume that he will understand the ruling of this town because he is licensed in Massachusetts. And so a new house will have to be 10 feet from the line. And
20 feet.
plans will show that, which should at least ease things up a little bit for you, Don.
Judy, just 1 second. I just want the architect, his name is Robert Medeiros, and he lives in Dartmouth for 15 years, and he has done a lot of work in Dartmouth.
Fine.
So he's familiar, a little
Yeah,
bit.
I'm
with
sure he is.
Are you done?
Anybody else have comments?
No.
Well,
Anybody from the public have comments? Somebody's got, is that a hand? No, that's not a hand raised. Anything else?
No.
Then does someone from the commission wish to make a motion?
I make a motion to, for a vote. We need a vote.
Thank
Okay,
you.
then we vote.
Diane, how about a motion?
I would like to make a motion that for the purposes of our bylaw, that we declare this preferably preserved, conditional on, with the 6-month delay, conditional on
Remove stuff.
the owners bringing in their plans, getting their approvals, that they can build the house that will be newly designed, I guess. And then the commission will meet to entertain the demo delay at that time.
To lift the demo delay at that
Yeah,
time.
to lift, but we have to meet first. I'm not promising.
Oh, sorry.
Diane,
If we could add to that motion, stressing that site plan review, et cetera.
Yeah.
But also, let me just add,
Judy Longo said, if you have approved plans,
we
We don't approve plans. Site plan is
I know
only the
that,
building
Judy, but
department.
I'm just saying, we're doing this for the purposes of better understanding what they're going to build, and also to photo document the house.
Well, we have pretty good photographs from our visit last time. We have about
Okay.
15, 16 photos.
All right, if you think that should suffice and no more
I think so.
formal photography needs to be done, or I suppose I could be satisfied with that.
Okay.
So does somebody, is it now time to second Diane's motion?
Yeah.
I
Excuse me?
second it.
Sorry, excuse me. We do have a comment from public. They didn't raise their hand, but they did mention,
Judy,
so I
I
unmuted
don't
them.
think you can close the public hearing anyway.
Oh, I haven't closed the public hearing yet.
No, we can't be voting until you've closed the public hearing.
Yes, we can.
you can vote.
We can vote in public hearing if we choose. At any rate, who wants to add something?
Oh, this is just Melissa Ellis. Once again, Brad and I live right next door to the new, the owners. And we don't want to be redundant, but because we did speak previously, but we know our neighbors are committed to preserving the nature of the community. We know that, and we're confident in that. And we know our neighbors are certainly going to abide by setbacks and all of the requirements, and they know the process. And this really isn't the last vestige of homes around here, because there are houses just across the street, for example, that are of the same genre, the same age. So I understand what you're saying, but quite frankly, I understand that when you came into the house, you said it didn't look as awful as described, but come in the winter, please. Come when there are leaks and broken windows and storms and all stuff. We don't really have to do that. We haven't been a camp for an awful long time, if ever. And I do believe our neighbors are committed to really to the nature of the community, and they will abide by all the setbacks. So we live right here. I can look, and Brad and I can see the house right now. So we know that we're going to have great neighbors, and they're going to do the right thing. So I hope that wasn't redundant, but that's where we stand, and we are going to be seeing that house every single day. And we're going to see our great neighbors every single day. So that's where we stand.
I would like to open a vote.
Oh,
Can we stand,
We're still discussing the motion.
we're still discussing the motion. If the motion is too confusing, let's repeat the motion.
I think the
I
motion is very
understand the
clear.
motion.
The motion said to declare the property preferably preserved, conditional on the owners bringing plans to the town and getting approval first. That's pretty clear.
Yep,
That's pretty
Okay.
clear.
yep.
So can we have a second?
We did.
Who? Me. I
Yes.
second.
Thank you, Jordan.
Well, I think I seconded it, but
Oh, okay.
Then you can second.
Whoever.
At any rate,
do we,
is there any further discussion?
second this, Judy? Excuse
Yeah.
me, second this, do we lock in that language? I mean, is it clear that the commission wants to see those drawings and it can then remove the stay as soon as the commission is satisfied? That's to say,
That is the way the bylaw is written, Jamie.
okay,
All right, and we said approvals from the town.
okay,
Yeah.
in
okay,
this
And that's-
motion. So we're
Yeah.
talking ZBA too.
right.
Now,
okay.
how long is the architect gonna take to come up with some plans?
That's not our business, Philip.
I
Oh.
think in the next week, we will have the plans.
All
And
right.
we will,
Bring them to the town.
And they will have to be approved by the building department and or the ZBA.
Comment, Judy?
Pardon me?
Did Linda have a comment?
No, not at this time. I think everything that I would have said has already been said.
Okay,
So we having seconded that motion, are we now ready to vote, Judy?
ready?
Well, we're still discussing the motion,
Oh,
and
we are, okay.
maybe we're through discussing it. Are we through discussing the motion?
I'm through.
Yes.
All members of the commission in favor of the motion? Diane,
Aye.
Aye.
Jordan,
Jamie O'Day, aye.
Jamie,
Smith, aye.
Bob.
Yep.
Keith,
Keith?
where's
I
Keith?
am
Are you in favor, Keith?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
And
Okay.
Philip?
No,
Okay, so it has been voted that the house shall be considered preferably preserved. And as soon as the owner comes back with plans that are approved by the building department and any other department that needs to approve, so they can go forward, then come back to us and we will consider lifting this delay. So if you get plans.
thank you.
We meet generally on the first Monday of the month. So you can tell your architect that. If we meet on the first Monday of the month, then he can plan accordingly. And the building department, going to have to wait on the building department. That's all I think that I can explained.
Okay.
And I would like to have a word with the members of the commission after this public hearing is brought to a close. Since we have made that vote and there is no other business, does someone wish to close the public hearing?
I do.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, I just want to tell the commission members, so I don't have to send you an email, that tomorrow night, Mr. Platt is coming before the Conservation Commission to discuss his issues with regard to the floodplain.
And
It's
that's
a public
at
meeting. If
Concord.
you're interested, you can dial in.
Judy, are you going to share that Zoom meeting information with us? Is that how it's going to be held?
It's going to be held by the Concom, and you could go to Concom's website, and the Zoom information is on their agenda,
Okay, thank you.
because they've got other things going on as well.
So is that to say that his plans for remodeling crossed a threshold for review?
The floodplain goes through his building.
Yes,
We
as you
discussed
mentioned.
that at the time.
Yeah,
Right.
as you mentioned, Judy.
Anything else, or can we call this, we've, all in favor, we did vote to terminate the public hearing. So
Okay.
therefore, we are through.
Everybody voted. All in
I'll
favor?
make a motion, we conclude the special meeting.
Thank you. We already did it, I think.
Yes, we did. This is like the Keystone Cops.
Yes. Okay.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night. Thank you for coming, all of you, including the visitors.